people out there. These are the people that are standing right out there.
They're pigs. They're low-life maggot. They're pigs. It's garbage. This has to be exposed. These universities, we can't even find a place to get together. And these guys are in our universities recruiting our youth and making communism romantic. Like, give me a fucking break. Do you know how many people die under communism? In 3 years in Russia, 25 million. And it's mostly starvation. They think it's all the good life. Oh, everybody's working together and I want your shit. Give me your shit and we'll all be equal. No, it doesn't work that way. Capitalism is the only way that works.
Who pays Antifa?
Who's paying Antifa? Yeah, it's all behind the same corruption. It's all corrupt. Huey, all of you. And none of yous are going to be saved harm if you keep going this way. Once it takes off, you're all in trouble. In Canada, as the modern West, okay, I'm just going to... The Philippines, yeah, they decapitated a chief of police. Okay, but I want to get... Okay, in Canada, as all modern Western states, women are the equals of men. This is not true in Islamic states, where women are subject to their fathers, husbands, and even adult sons. They are limited in jobs and education. They are often confined to their homes, which they cannot leave unless they are veiled and or with a male relative. And they are second class under the law. They can inherit half of what men do, and their word is worth half of a man. And they have no redress under the law. So if they're subjected to marital rape and or beatings, in many Islamic countries, women who complain of sexual crimes against them are themselves imprisoned or killed for illicit sexual acts. This means virtually no one complains. And so it promotes a rape culture. You concerned, you femi lefts, you femi Nazis, you SJWs? Why aren't you taking on Sharia and helping to free your sisters in these Middle East countries? This is where suffragettism, unfortunately, didn't interject in these countries, and we can see that they haven't changed. This means, okay, it permits the marriage. Islamic law permits rapists to marry their victims, thereby restoring family honor. It permits the marriage of children as young as 8 to adult men. It permits the marriage of very close relatives, uncles and nieces, first cousins, etc. Islamic law also permits polygamy. We're going to be doing the Suffragette Day, first Suffragette Day, June 30th at Kingston Mill Locks, where the Shafia girls were all killed for becoming too westernized. And they were killed with the first wife of the polygamous marriage, and their mother, who was his cousin, Shafia's cousin, was complicit along with their brother in this murder. 4 women killed. Aska Pervez, 16 years old, strangled by her father. She was not allowed a door on her room because they had to have constant watch over this young girl. Beautiful, precious 16-year-old girl. We've got posters made up of them. I hope you will all join us between 1 and 3 on June 30th and raise awareness of this and all of domestic violence, okay? Divorce, while easy for men, is nearly impossible for a woman if a woman's husband doesn't release her. No one may speak against these laws. And there's the kicker, okay? You can't question Islam. Because if you're questioning Islam, then you're questioning the Quran or the Prophet Muhammad. So it's a double thing. They can't reform Islam because it's illegal to reform Islam. Those few Muslims who have tried to champion modernity have been labeled apostates and can be killed under Islamic law. So see, Muhammad had it all sewed up. Many now live in the West and are warning us, like our sister, like Zena, all these women that we've come across of all different races and religions. Many now live in the West are warning us of the dangers. We should listen to them, the Sandra Solomons, and not the Muslim apologists who are permitted by the Quran to lie to us. Oh my God, can you imagine somebody would lie to you? Oh wow, like these people aren't clued in. They got university degrees that don't understand lies and corruption. How stupid are liberals? There's a reason they're called libtards. We should listen to them and not the Muslim apologists, because they're allowed to lie to the kafir. I have a t-shirt, I love kafir. That's an infidel. So as to overcome them. In several Canadian provinces, including Ontario, Muslim communities have lobbied the government to accept Muslim practice and law in its delivery of service. In Ontario, Sharia law was nearly accepted as a subset of family law to be implemented by the state. Only massive public outcry prevented this, so we must keep out with the massive public outcry. In Ontario, Sharia law was nearly accepted. And creep of Islamic practices and laws continue unabated. In public schools in Toronto and Mississauga, where there are large Muslim populations, Islamic prayers take place according to the Islamic practice with full knowledge and support of the school board. I'm almost done here. In community centers, offices, factories, mini mosques have sprung up, all permitting gender segregation. We are not second-class or subhuman citizens. You are not regressing us women, us suffragettes, who are taking the movement back to its origins of equality and standing with our male counterparts. And I want you to know something about the suffragettes. They stopped their movement. It went on for 70 years. They fought long and hard. And it was an outgrowth. They helped in the abolishment movement. They helped abolish slavery. So after that, they started their movement. 70 years they fought, but they stopped their movement. They had the presence of mind to stop their movement and fight with their male counterparts, their fathers, their brothers, their sons, and win victoriously World War I. So it just shows you what we can do shoulder to shoulder.
One voice, one flag, one nation! Woo!
Yeah, I liked what you said. Free speech is our third
language.
Free speech is our third language. Woo! Good one. So many mosques of gender segregation. There are now swimming pools for women only in many Canadian cities. I met somebody that does lifeguarding, and she's telling me, like, she's got to tell these people, you can't wear this stuff. It's dirty. It's like you get stuff attached. You can just imagine a piece of clothing, a rubberish kind of piece of clothing. Like, it's just not right. It's not our way, and it shouldn't be here.
No, it shouldn't.
And I'm not afraid to say it. Everybody, all this political correctness and can't say this and shouldn't say that and don't offend. Well, you're offending me. You're really fucking offending me now. When you think you're going to tell me what I can think, what I can feel, and you're calling me a racist, well, you're a goddamn sexist. They're sexist.
That's right.
Misogyny on steroids is what it is. Courts have ruled in favor of women demanding the right to wear full Islamic dress in all public and secular spaces. The irony is that gender segregation is now being championed by liberals and leftists who once fought tooth and nail for the full equality of women. And this is because, what's that?
Women haters.
Yes, absolutely. Anti-women, anti-democratic, and this is cultural Marxism has overtaken the women's movement. Linda Sarzar, Sharia law is good.
What?
She's a fraud.
Yeah, they're frauds, exactly. They're liars. There are liars. And Ikra Khalid, I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw this tweet that Sharia law is good. Well, you take it, enjoy it, back in Pakistan. Go. Get. The irony is that the gender segregation, now they are trying to hang the label racist on those who would stand up for Canadian values. And you know, we all know that there's no answer to this question. What race is Islam? There is no answer. Right. There are tens of thousands of newcomers to Canada who have fled Islamic oppression. And they are all colors and ethnicities, and they are with us. Just heard our sister today, and Sandra's out west. This is the new Canada. Islamic practices in Canada and the West negate everything that Western women have spent over 100 years fighting for. Next year, in May, will be I think it's the 20th or the 24th, is 100 years since women were enabled to vote here. if maybe somebody could grab the banner there and we could get a shot of it in the, because it's important. It's 100 years, so that's a centennial for us being voting. So we'll be doing something on that date as well. The idea that women are equal to men is enshrined in the Canadian Constitution as a law that supersedes all other laws. How then do our political leaders at every level of government think that they can negate the laws of the country in order to accommodate a very small but very aggressive religious minority? See, these are suffragettes, and I love these guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, brothers. It is time to tell the government to uphold the laws of Canada or face the consequences. It is time to mobilize to remove any politician who negates the rights of Canadian women. It is time to call out the press and the so-called social justice warriors who tacitly support the enemies of modernity, democracy, feminism, by actively supporting the Islamic agenda. We are the people. We will overcome. Thank you, sister, for this wonderful speech. Now, what else I brought along, and I've told people this often, and I said this when I addressed Iqra Khalid in my outburst, my eruption, as I call it, because I can only sit and listen to this shit for so long. And who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell do you think you are to come to this country? We've been good to you. You're a woman who got to Parliament. You sit beside a suffragette monument. Women like Sandra and this other sister who just spoke before me, they come here. They enjoy the freedoms that the suffragettes fought for. Our history. This idiot thinks we're a post-national state. No, I'm going to tell you, we are our history. We are our principles. We are our values. This is our culture. This is our Canada. And you will not take it from us. We will not be quelled. Now this is where Iqra is, all I've said to her, just Google domestic violence in Islam and you will get this paperwork. Now read up on this. It goes on for every one of these countries, Jordan, Morocco, Palestine, Saudi, all of it. But I'm going to hone in on Iqra's country of origin. A 2011 report claims 80% of women in Pakistan suffer domestic abuse. A 204 study claimed 50% of the women in Pakistan are physically battered and 90% are mentally and verbally abused by men. While other reports claims domestic violence rates between 70 to over 95% Pakistan. Earlier studies from 70s to 90s suggest rates of similar rates. Okay, now here's the kicker. In Pakistan, domestic violence occurs in the form of beatings, sexual violence, torture, mutilation, acid attacks, and burning the victim alive. It's actually, they've got a handle for it. It's called bride burning. According to the Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences, so this is right from their country, their studies, in 2002, over 90% of married Pakistani women surveyed reported being kicked, slapped, beaten, or sexually abused by their husbands and in-laws. Over 90% of Pakistani women consider domestic violence as a norm of everyday life. Between 1998 and 2003, there were more than 666, interesting number, women killed in honor killings by a family member. And furthermore, women there, actually, could you imagine how desperate you would be to set yourself on fire to get away of a situation that you found so horrendous, so oppressive, that you would set yourself ablaze to get out of it. Then we also know about female genital mutilation. 2 doctors in United States charged for mutilating. This is child abuse. This is torture. These people should be hung. I'm sorry. You touch any girl's parts, you affect that child. This is torture. They were charged. And this is happening. It's going on under the radar.
It is.
Right? Gelding. It's disgusting.
It is.
So we have FGM. Then we see that the acid attacks. The women, they don't marry somebody. They just want to tell them, no, sorry, you're not my kind. You're not allowed that in Islam. The guy comes with his buddies or whatever, he throws acid on your face. And you know what? When you go to court, they're commending, they're applauding the perpetrator.
Yes.
And they're chastising the woman who's been so desperate to set herself ablaze. I know a lot about Islam, and I'm sorry, you're not going to quell me. This is the most, I have seen such evil, and it's not here in Canada, but it's happening every day down there. Executions. We met a woman from Iran, my sister Laura here, and they were up at Young and Shepherd, and she was saying, Mullah, something, Mullah, Mullah, they were all chanting, these Iranians. And she told me, I said, do you know about Evan Jail? Because there's another lady, Annie Cyrus in California. She said, yeah, I was in Evan Jail. She said, the girl that I was in a cellmate with, they like to flog the feet because there's a lot of nerve endings there. So she said, the woman I was with, they flogged her feet so badly, later she had to have a transplant from her forearm to her feet. She was helping her hobble along. A lot of the women come out of there, there's children in that jail, the women come out of there, they kill themselves because they've suffered gang rapes, they suffered humiliation, torture, abuse. They were protesting there because 87 people had been killed for insulting the Prophet. So you look at this fucking M-103 bullshit law, and excuse my language, I only swear when I'm extremely fucking mad at my fucking government, and I can tell them to shove it up their fucking liberal asses, because I am completely offended. And unlike them, I'm not looking for a safe space.
Right on.
Okay? I'm not going to be quelled. Ever. My father fought. My uncle, he's German. I'm Scottish and German. This is why I'm here, because I know I hung with a lot of people that went through the war. And when I told my uncle, who's 80, in his late 80s now, he said to me, he put his head down. He was very close with my father, because after the war, these men, they fought a good fight, but they knew they were fighting for their countries. This is something different we're fighting. Like ISIS, this is something completely perverse and horrific. But he put his head down and he said, why did all those good men die?
Exactly.
Well, I'm here to say, I'm standing and I'm carrying that torch of liberty forward to the children of tomorrow.
Yes.
I will not be quelled.
We will not be quelled.
I will not be quelled. So will you please join with me? I'm going to wrap it up here and pass it up to somebody else. We will not be quelled. 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 You know, they can come and they can cut my fucking tongue out, and I'm gonna get a fucking board with a marker, and I will still be back speaking out against this government and their sick, perverse policies. You do not take away free speech. That good men, unlike this pig that's in this parliament. Parliament pigs is what they are. Goddamn, purge this thing. Purge it. It's not serving us anymore. It's going full commie on us. And these commies that want to take away free speech.
Right on.
It's a sickness. It's an illness. It's a disease. And it's got to be stopped. It's a cancer. So, God bless Kevin. Kevin, I really hope that you're going to be here this afternoon. What a beautiful man, Kevin Johnson. He's with Adrian. Beautiful, beautiful gentleman. Suffragette, right? And Kevin with freedomreport.ca. I think he's one of the finest speakers, the finest public speakers. And brilliant the man is. He really is. You know, and he'll never do a drunken video because he doesn't drink. So that's extra special about Kevin. So God bless Kevin, and I think it's Adrian, and if it's not, whoever's with him. And what do we got gone? Oh, I'm sorry, that's the limes. Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I think it's really appropriate. I think God's got a sense of humor, because you got to hear this one. This is the Lyme's disease. Okay, Rally? And you know what really fucking ticks me off? What really ticks me off? Hey? Is Islam and M-103 and this freaking government. So I think God really had a good sense of humor on this day. Thank you. God bless.
Yeah.